So, what is PostTrans? PostTrans is all about saving time. Many companies need to make bulk changes to their accounting data, such as sales prices, or maybe even purchase prices, or maybe they want to create bulk stock items or edit those stock items already in the system, maybe managing bill of materials or complex discount matrices. PostTrans can help with all these and many other types of import. Indeed, we can also post in transactions. Many companies have people in the company creating nominal journals within Excel, or maybe quotes or orders sent to the customers, and then they're resubmitting them to the accounts department to manually type back into Sage. We hope we can stop this because PostTrans will help you automate all of these processes. In essence, PostTrans is a simple Excel add-in which can extract Sage data into Excel. Thus, changes can be easily made to that data in Excel, and updated data can be pushed back into Sage using PostTrans. New data can also be imported, including transactional data. This can either be manually input or from external systems, all with Sage business rules and validation applied. PostTrans was originally written back in 1998. This gives us over 20 years worth of experience in this field of development. Thus, the new version for Sage is easier to create and edit templates, easier to install on a PC, which enables us to keep support time to a minimum. We have many great customer comments which can be seen on posttrans.co.uk. Indeed, a huge majority of customers would say that PostTrans has been an excellent return on investment. So let's see the product in action. So I guess the first question is how easy it is to install. Okay, let's just go to the internet, and I'm just going to go to posttrans.co.uk. You can see at the top here we've got various menus, and in each of these menus for Sage 50 and 200 we actually have a download and install section. This gives you the complete instructions and a link to install the software. You can download this software, you can install it on your PC, it doesn't require admin rights. One thing it does require is a designated directory, preferably on your network, to share information around the network. This allows you to install maybe on 3 copies of Excel, and if one upgrades, then it can share that upgrade to the other 2 and automatically upgrade them. It also can share system settings and various other bits of information between the copies of PostTrans. When installed, and like I say, it's very easy to install, just a simple next, it will create a program group, and in that program group we can access the installed directory and the network directory as I just discussed. If you haven't got a network directory, you can just put it on any directory on your C drive. But also in here we have the option to temporarily disable or enable it within Excel. So if you wish to turn it off temporarily but not uninstall it, you can do so from within here. Let's fire up Excel. Having installed it, it will add a new tab to our toolbars up here. So if we click on PostTrans 50, we see here we've got 6 buttons. Effectively, we have an import button for importing the data, an extract button for pulling data out of Sage, a clear button clears down the current template ready for new data to be input if we wish to. Tags allows us to add tags to the spreadsheet and help design. Setup accesses the setup details, and help accesses help information. Indeed, in the help we have many different videos to help you. So for instance, we have a training video here, takes you to our website. And there's 2 types of kind of import. We call static data, which is like your customer, your stock, your prices, etc. And then there's transactional data. So static data is static when relatively speaking to transactions. So there's 2 training courses, and you'll see the 2 different types of template as we progress through this demonstration. So let's just press help again, and you can see down here we have many different example templates that come with the system. Indeed, we have a search box here, so if I want to post a nominal journal, if I type the first few letters, and you can see there we have 4 examples, one with a Contra, one with VAT, etc. But we're progressing into that later in the demonstration. I'm just going to type demo in the search box, and that now gives me a list of templates I'm going to use in this demonstration. So let's open the first one. The first one is static data because it's about Sage 50 products and prices. So this gives me access to that information. So let's just open that. I'll just briefly explain a little bit of the format of the spreadsheet. Row 1 contains a series of tags. Now those tags define what data PostTrans will read or write to the columns below those tags. Some are required. Obviously, if we're dealing with products, we'd expect a product code in order for PostTrans to write back to that record. It only updates those fields that are actually listed in your spreadsheet. Anyway, this will become more and more apparent as we progress through the demonstration. It expects here to write all the data from row 4. Row 3, it totally ignores, so you can put in your own description. So if you were giving this to another person or a customer, you can put your own titles on the top of each column. So let's start by extracting all of my data from all my product data. So here you can see we've got a pop-up box, and I'm just going to say overwrite all of that, all the data on the spreadsheet, and you can see there it read 105 records in. So there we've got all our product data from Sage 50. Now, of course, we might have a lot of data in Sage 50, and we might just want to hone in on a particular category. Now, there's in-cell searching in many places within PostTrans. Now, this row 2 is a filter row, which enables me to put in, say, a wildcard character, so I could get all descriptions beginning with S or something. But I'm just going to press space and tab away from this cell, and you can see now, having entered space in a tab, it's brought up the whole list of categories. So I could go in here and I could just select a category, or as we saw, they're all got a number code in front of them. If I just type 2, then it would look up office supplies. So now I've selected office supplies. I'm going to extract that again, and you can see there it's saying you're looking for category, everything in category 2. So let's just press the overwrite, and now we've just got now our office supplies into the sheet. So again, let's just discuss what we've got on the sheet. So we've got there the stock code, the type, the description, its category, its nominal, and its VAT rate, its sales price, and its unit price. And all these tags at the top here, we actually have a little comment on there, as you can see, which explains more about each individual cell or column of data. So let's just show it updating some data within Sage 50. Let's just change one of those prices to, let's just change it to a ridiculously high price. And now I'm going to press the import button. When PostTrans connects to Sage, it does actually require a user to be set up within Sage 50, but that's already been set up, and I've ticked the box to say always remember the password, so it doesn't prompt me for the password. Now let's just press OK, so it's logged into Sage 50, and it's made 2 updates just for the data that we edited here. So let's just prove that that data was updated in Sage Line 50. I'm just going to press the extract button, and we would expect if we extract the data that it will write back again the values that we edited. So that proves the data went into Sage Line 50. So let's just prove that in Sage Line 50. So that's label SO2. Let's just switch over to Sage, and we'll just type in their label, and there's my second label. And there we can see there 666, so that's correct. It did indeed update the data within Sage Line 50. Okay, so that used an example template to access our product database within Sage Line 50. Let's say we want to customize it. We want to add a barcode because we want to add barcodes to all our products within Sage Line 50. Okay, so I've moved to the next empty column. I'm just going to press the tags button, which now lists all the tags appropriate for this type of import. Now, as I said earlier, some are required, and you can see they've got REQ by them, and one of those is the product code, because obviously we need that to identify the record to update its data. So I'm looking for barcode. Well, of course, I could scroll through all this here, but let's type in here BAR, and there's my barcode tag. So now I can double click that and add that to my spreadsheet. Let's just extract that data just to find out whether there's anything already in it. Oh yes, and there we've already got some barcodes in there. So now I'm just going to do some very silly things, like I'm just going to enter quite a lot of text into my barcode, far too long a text really to be pushed back or fit into the field within Sage Line 50. And I'm also going to change some nominal codes, and as I said earlier, we've got in-cell searching, and we can tell which fields we've got in-cell searching for because we've got a little arrow up on the end of the tag for that particular column. So for instance, if I press space like we did before and then tab away, we can see all of my nominal codes. So obviously double clicking on there, I can change that nominal code. But as you'd expect, if I type 40 and maybe tab away, then I will see everything beginning with 40. Or if I type sales, I can see everything that contains the text sales. So I can go through here, or I can actually type in the full code. I think that's a valid full code. And for the purpose of the demonstration, I'm actually going to make one invalid. Let's type in there 4102, which is an invalid stock code. Sorry, nominal code. And you can see there it didn't add the description. Now it's interesting that there's a comma between the description and the code. If you were importing data, you would only actually need the nominal code, not the description behind it. Basically, PostTrans ignores anything past that comma. So anyway, we've made several edits to this data, but I just want to demonstrate a couple of features. So let's just import this. And what this is telling me here is that these are the defaults it will use for various fields of data if they're not specified on the spreadsheet. Let's just press OK. And now it's highlighted that there's an invalid GL in the spreadsheet, and it's entirely correct. So let's just correct that. Hang on, it's a 40 something. Let's put Scottish sales in Wales. So there we saw some validation going on, and now let's import it again. Now it's posted 3 records. Well, it's actually posted 4 records, but one it's given a warning. And what does the warning say? Well, it says that the barcode is over 60 characters. So presumably the barcode field within Sage line 50 is 60 characters long. And we've actually typed in this 66 characters. So if you're importing new stock items or customers and suppliers there, you could actually validate the data, go through, import it all in, and then say, oh, hello, we've got a few warnings, alter that data. So you would edit it, maybe it's an address, just shorten it a little bit, and then re-import it into Sage line 50. So looking at this data, maybe we'd like to create some new stock items. Let's just take my 2 labels here. I'm going to copy and paste them down there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the stock code to maybe a 3 and a 4. And I'm just going to change the sales value to, again, a ridiculously high number, just so it shows up in the data. Now I'm going to change the description. We'll make that, I don't know, 190, and this one a 190. So these are slightly different size stock items. Of course, now when I import, it will create the two new stock items. And now if I do the extract again, we'll see those 2 stock items created. And there they are with their ridiculously high sales value. Yeah, so let's delete those 2 items. So here we can see we have a delete column. I'm just going to put some X's in there. You don't necessarily need to have this column in the template. All I'm just doing there is marking it with an X, and that will now delete those records from the database. But of course it will apply the Sage rules that it'll only delete them if they've got no transactions. It's just going to ask me if I really do want to delete them, because I might have accidentally typed an X in there, and there we go, we've deleted them. So again, if I extract the information from Sage line 50, we should see now those 2 records have been removed. So when I started the video, I briefly explained here that we've got 6 buttons added on our toolbar. So we've now seen import and extraction and help being used, and of course the tags to access the tags. It's the setup button here, and I'm briefly going to go in there because this enables me to change the company I'm talking to in terms of Sage 50. So these are my 3 companies, my 3 Sage 50 companies, and I can simply just double click on one to select it. I can also check for updates. So if we've pumped out any updates on PostTrans, that will list what changes have been made, and you just press a button, it will download. It'll ask you to close Excel and upgrade, and then that copy will then be copied out to the network, so when anybody else starts PostTrans up, it will offer them an upgrade too. Registration can easily be done when you start the software up. It asks you for your details. So that's a brief explanation of the setup window. So let's move on to the next demonstration. And of course we've just seen their products, but so let's go back to the help button, and we're now going to type in demo again. And I'm going to go to product customer prices. Other point of interest, cell A1 contains a special tag, and I think if we switch back to the other spreadsheet, you see there it says Sage 50 product. And in the new one, we've gone to Sage 50 price list price. Now, PostTrans expects to find this tag in cell A1, and that's the first thing it looks for. Let's quickly go in and extract all the data before we discuss it. So what are we seeing here? Well, we're seeing the price lists within Sage line 50. So I've extracted them all, but of course, as we saw earlier, we can filter the data. So let's just type in it TRAD and tab away, and I'm just going to select price band, trade price band A. Let's just do an extract, and now we should have trader list A. So there's all my prices on that price list. So as you'd expect, there's my product codes, my discounts, what type the discount is. So this one is all a 5% discount, and you can see there we're also listing the product cost and its normal product sale price. So you could add your own formulas to this sheet. You could do your own calculations on a product price up increase. I know this is all percentage discounts, but let's, for instance, put a space and then tab away here. And of course, I can now enter a fixed price, for instance. So I could make this 55. Oh, hello, the sales price is 10. So maybe, I don't know, we're selling it at 12 for some strange reason. And of course, I can just go down there and change them all to fixed prices and update the records very easily. I'm just going to type some silly numbers in there just to show it importing. So let's just import those, and you can see there it says imported 6 new records. So let's go at the top there. There we've got them marked as posted. So now I'm just going to extract those, and we should see now we've got some fixed prices in there for those stock items. So that was editing existing, but of course we could easily add additional ones, because the product here, you know, you've got a full product search there, so you could enter, I don't know, a value in there very easily. And you can see there, as I went through, it also brought through the price when it looked up the stock code. So that would add an extra item. Now we could use this to create a new price list. So I've got here a small template which extracts my price lists. So we can easily create a new one. Copy that down, and I'll call this price band C. Much luck here. So now if I import that data, now we've created price band C. We can go to our prices. Let's extract price band A. And now we can change this to trade C. And of course we can use Excel to copy that all down. So let's change them all to price band C. So now I can fill in my various values for price band C. So maybe we're doing an 8%, and of course I could copy that down really easily down the spreadsheet, and I could change these values obviously, and then re-import, and now that's just going to create my price band C prices. So now if we go into Sage line 50, we should see, double click on the label 2, and we click on the pricing structure. We can see now our pricing structure has been created. I think we did a 6% on price band, yeah, so that's slightly big discount. Of course we got a silly value because we put 6,666 as the sales price, but you can see there we've created basically a new trader price list. So now we've seen static data updating products and discounts. Let's move on to transactional data. So I'm just going to type in here demo in my help window, and I'm going to move on and do a nominal journal. Now, several examples come of nominal journals. There are single, double columns and various things. Now this one is a contra nominal. So we have a nominal account specified at the top here with its department and a description to post. And effectively that will be the opposite side of whatever's listed in the lines below. Now, of course, this is a different format to we saw with our static data, in that we've got a section at the top which enables us to map our header fields. So, a nominal journal will always have a date and a reference and those sort of things. And this will come more into play when we move on to sales orders, which will be in the next example. So what PostTrans has now done is it's going to read, well, it's first going to read cell A1, which is going to say Sage 50 transnom. So it knows that this is a transaction and it's a nominal journal. It's then going to read the tags in row 28 and read the data down from row 30 to make up the transaction lines. Now, header fields are simply mapped using the tags button like we saw earlier, but the tag name is actually held within the comment. You can see there the first line of the comment denotes, this one's thref, it says there's text 30. So PostTrans will read that and say that's where you want to put the reference for the nominal. Okay, let's just post this. So let's just type in here test, and I'm just going to post it straight off and just go through it, and then we're going to customize it a little bit. So let's press the import button, and as we press the import button we should see validation. So it's telling me here that the cell C30 is invalid, and it is invalid. Obviously those department codes are wrong, so let's change that to admin, and I'm going to change that to another value there. And now let's post it again. So that's good. That's proved there that we've got validation on some of our cells. So what it did there, read down there, it numbered all those lines as it read them. So these are, it shows you there that it actually read those lines. And there is a kind of detailed summary of the nominal journal. Now this can be turned off. You could post it straight away without the summary coming up, but I got the power here to cancel or post. So I'm just going to post it. It's also told me what company it went into. So it's told me there's posted 5 lines because it also posted the Contra line. And in cell A1, it's written a reference. So we can see the reference of each line that was posted into Sage line 50. Now, while this information, this posted, is in column A, it will not post again. So it will now totally ignore anything. So you can't post the journal twice by accident. To post the journal again, you would physically have to delete all of those references out, and now you can post that journal again. As of course we said earlier, space and tab brings up the list of everything on our in-cell search, so I could put anything in here. But you can see there I've selected a nominal journal. It's filled in the default department. Of course I could just put a 3 in there, or I could type in, I think if I type in AD, then it fills that in. So it does kind of map a start search or a text matching in each search box. Let's just type in a value there, and you can see there I've just created part of the journal. Let's just add another line. Total training costs. I think we got this in twice, but let's book it to a different department. Now, I don't know whether you've noticed, but as I'm tabbing through, the cursor is following a predefined path. So let's just do another line here, insurance. And again, you see it's missing the details, skipping over the details because I don't necessarily need to override that. So effectively, the cursor can be defined in the spreadsheet to aid data entry. And later on in an example, we're going to see that being customized. So there we can see we've used in-cell searching to add some extra lines to that journal. But of course, this journal could have actually been brought in from a text file. And again, in a later example, we do that with orders. You can enable a find button at the top there and bring in a text file. And of course, you could write your own formula or macros to manipulate that data once it's in Excel. So much you can do with the power of Excel. Let's import my new journal, and there we can see our extra values, and we post that into Sage line 50. So let's have a look at that journal in Sage 50. Let's go to Sage 50 and look at transactions. Now we've got that sorted in date order. So down at the bottom here, you see there we posted 2 journals. So there we can see all our lines of information that we just posted in, which looks pretty good to me. Starting at 1240, and there we go. Yes, that's 1040 is the start of the journal with the credit at the bottom to the bank account. So now we've posted a nominal journal, let's go on and do a sales order. So let's go back to the help button. I'm going to type in demo again, and I'm going to pull up the sales order template. So now this already has data entered into it already, which I'll post in a second. And as we can see, we've again got the header, and if I expand this down here, you can see there we've got the series of tags, a description that it misses so we can put headings in the columns, and row 27 is actually used for the clear button, which I'm going to hit in a minute, which basically means X means delete everything in this column, otherwise set it to a default value. But you can also put formula in here, so if you wanted to say something go red if you were going to sell it at below cost or something like that, you could add your own formula, and PostTrans will copy it down the spreadsheet every time you reset it. Of course, you don't need all these columns. You actually need, I think, a bare minimum of product, description and quantity. It will look up the prices automatically. It's only if you overwrite it or add it to this spreadsheet it comes into play. So in the header here, we've got the fact it's a sales order from our transaction types. So I'm just going to press space on there because there's all my transaction types. So I could make this a quote very easily or an order. My account, customer reference, delivery address, and also I've got here the current balance. Down below I've got the product, the stock description, the quantity, the unit price. If I want to put in discount, so I could discount this as further 5%. Like I say, you don't have to have this listed if you don't want to use discount, and it will calculate the net and the total cost per the line. So there I can work out, I could add a formula to give me the profit margin as I'm entering the data. And of course this could even come from CSV, or you could actually prepare a sheet and send out to a customer and get them to fill it in and bring it back. And we will do a bit of that with an order pad in a little while. And here we can see the stock quantity will be updated as we enter details in. So let me just press import, and again you'll see it's read down those lines, it numbered them as it went. You can see there it's going into my demo company. We can see they're over the credit limit. They've got no credit limit. Various details about the transaction, the settlement discount, etc. The margin, again we could turn the margin on or off in this summary, and we can suppress this completely. So if we're happy just to post with no confirmation, we can do so. I'm just going to post that, and it's now offering me to print that or email it out. So if we wanted, we could create a complete order pad to send out the order confirmation to the customer. I'm just going to press preview, and it'll just be able to preview that in a PDF. There we go, very nice, using the standard Sage form layouts. So let's just cancel that. And again, just like the nominals, it's written the sales reference in there. So we've got sales 31 in there. And indeed, if we double click on that reference, we can actually go back and reprint the transaction. So this works in many places. For instance, if I double click on the balance, you can see there I can access all my outstanding transactions or the ledger for the customer. So if I want to discuss a debt with them, I can easily do so. Now, we discussed briefly these clear tags in here. Oh no, we're just in a cell right now. So now if I press the clear button, it'll say, do you want to clear this data? And if I press yes, it's now reset it. Now, there's several ways you can use PostTrans. You could actually create a template on your desktop, just double click it and open a fresh spreadsheet each time, but that's basically reset the spreadsheet. So now, as you'd expect, it's now moved me to the account field. So I'm going to type in there ABS, which is the start of the account. Of course, I could do a postcode search on that. So I'm just going to select one, and you can see there it's filled in my delivery address, and I don't know, we're going to put a reference in there. So now, of course, if I was dealing with the public, I might be booking this to a cash account. If I go to the delivery postcode and press space and type in a postcode, we can actually interface it with postcode software, so I can pull up the delivery address just like that. And it's worth noting, of course, the cursor order has been defined in here. So we can see there the cursor follows through into the products. Now I'm going to start entering some items. So I'm going to type in their key. And then when I tabbed away, because key is the only match, it's filled that in, so I can have 2 of those. You can see there we've got 41 in stock, cost of 21, so hopefully we're making a profit. So let's go down. I'm just going to type in PC. Now there's many different types of PC here, so you can see I've only got 2 of these in stock. I'm going to have 1 of those. And of course I can't remember everything, so I'm going to put in here space 20 GB, which should look up a 20 gigabyte hard drive, and it has done, so I can sell 1 of those. And I also want to put in a note to say please deliver to back door, so I'm going to put in please deliver to back door, hopefully spelled correct, and I'm quite happy with that, so I'm going to post that in to Sage 50. So now we can see the summary, we can see the stock items, whether we made any profit on them, etc. And post that in. Now if I press preview now, we should see, yes, we've got a message on please deliver to the back door, which has been put again an S3 type stock code. So that was good. Now, of course, we added the message to the bottom here, but maybe we'd be happier if the message was at the top. And I'm just going to show you quickly how we can customize the template pretty easy. Of course, some of these fields we could actually hide. We can easily put things over to the right hand side, and you can hide columns and cells from the user so they never need touch them or know they're even there. Let's go in and we're going to add a message to the bottom properly. So let's just type in here MSEE, and there we can see we've got 3 tags relating to messages. 1 places a message at the top of the transaction, and 2 messages to the bottom. So I'm just going to double click on that, and you can see now it's labeled over here that cell and designated it using the comment. So there we can see THMessBot1 has been added to that comment, and that tells PostTrans that's what it is. Okay, so that's added that to the sheet. And let's make it always email the customer. So here we want email, and this is TH email print. And again, look, you can see help displayed down here. And also, if I click on that, you can see there, it will take you to our website and discuss that particular feature in detail. Okay, so let's see that in action. Let's clear down those references. And of course, we put the message. Let's clear down those references so we can post it, because as I said earlier, you can't post it twice while there's a message there. I know we didn't add the print tag. So let's deliver to back door. I actually want this to look a bit different, just to prove it does look a bit different because there's no space in there. And I'm just going to say send that to ss@ss.com. So now when we post it, it will use that data to add. So now we can see exactly the same stock items. But when we print preview it, we see delivered to the back door. That's been added by the system automatically. But also, you can see there it says email to ss.com. So if I say print and send, then off it will go as a confirmation to the customer. Now you can suppress the print, or you can make it always print. Various options in the system setup. So of course now we've set the tab order, we've upset the tab order because we can no longer, it does not flow. So let's change the way the tab order works. So we're going to go to the setup button, and in here we can see there's a tab called cursor path, and you can see here it says C4, C5, F2, F da 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 da, and down to B30 where the first transaction line begins, and then it says okay, go through that transaction line but only go to column B, D and F, and then it goes to the next line. So there we define them. Now how easy is this to set up? It's really easy because we just press record. It's just going to give me a little bit of instruction there, and all I've got to do is move the cursor, and what I could do is say that goes to B30, but if I go over here and fill in my delivery address, I want it to flow through there. So in actual fact, I've got 2 points that take it down to below. So what's that going to do? Let's just stop it and OK that. So now if I tab through, we should see, there we go, it's gone to those new fields, and now it goes down to the lines and carries on through the lines. But if I use the mouse cursor to move up to the delivery address, you now see it flows through there and then flows back down into the lines of the transaction again. So that's quite a neat little function in itself. Okay, so I've just rewound a little bit here. I've just gone back to the spreadsheet before we post the others, and I'm just going to explain creating an order pad. So an order pad, the idea of an order pad is it lists all your stock items down, and you just bang in quantities against the items you want to order from. So let's just make those two 0 quantity and this 2 a quantity of 2. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go into system setup, and I'm going to flick a switch here which says ignore 0 quantities, and this is a pro version. So PostTrans comes in 2 flavors, the standard and the pro version. So the pro version is required for things like order pads and printing and various other functionality. So let's OK that, and now when I say import, we should now see that it's now just read that one line. It's ignored the other lines, otherwise it would have tried to post them with a 0 quantity. So having done that, then we could now list all our stock items on our spreadsheet and create our own little order pad. But of course, we've got an extract button here. So wouldn't we expect that to pull out all the products into our template to create an order pad? What does this do? What does it do? Well, we can extract all our products, or we can extract individual price lists. So we might want to create an order pad for a trader or all our traders. We might have a team of TeleSales personnel who are going to ring these trader customers and take orders, in which case we could pull through all their trader products, and we can nominate to write the price into the spreadsheet. I'm not going to do that right now, not the price anyway. I could also specify which categories, in what order I would like listing on the spreadsheet. And you note here I've got group by category already ticked, so that's going to group them. So what this would allow you to do is have a nice groupings of all your categories, and you could only have certain categories written to the sheet and in a particular order. But I'm just going to pull them all through, and I'm just going to double click on get all stock, and now what you'll see is extracted all the stock and grouped them by category. So now I could save this to my network, create a shortcut to it to all my users. They could just pop it open, fill in the account, and go down and start filling in figures. Maybe a customer wants 2 of those and 3 of those, and of course if they want to do a price inquiry, all they've got to do is write a quantity against there, and they know the price. And of course that is the price from Sage, so it's applying whatever discounts are defined within Sage 50. So there we go, we've done that, and we press the import button, and we can see the confirmation, and we can place the order and then print or email the confirmation to the customer. It's that simple. And of course, having done that, so now of course we would expect to be able to turn that round to do a purchase order. So if I type PO in the transaction type, let's change it to a purchase order. And now, of course, I can type in a supplier. Let's select SUP01 and a delivery address against them. Now, if I press the extract, we should see an extra option, which is all the stock for that individual supplier. So now if I double click on that, that is all the stock for that supplier. So now I can raise a purchase order pretty quickly for that supplier and post that into Sage line 50, just like so. So that's great. And of course, now we could take that one step further. And because we've got this email here, we could actually create a purchase authorization template. So for instance, we've already got an example here, purchase order with authorization. And that uses that to email back confirmation to the original submitter of the purchase order. So the idea behind this is a template is sent out to all your personnel. You can create a purchase order in there. And if I double click on here, it will bring up our blog article on it with a nice diagram of what this is all about. So the idea is the originator fills in the purchase order, sends to the authorizer. The authorizer can then reject it by simply returning the email and suggesting amendments or the reason it's rejected. They can then edit it and try and get it through the authorizer. When it's passed by the authorizer just simply emails it on to the accounts department. The accounts department have PostTrans, they open the template and they import it into Sage Line 50 or 200, this can be used with. And because we use this email address like we saw on our sales order, it can then send confirmation back to the originator of the purchase order. So he can then see that the purchase order has been placed. Of course, the purchase order can also be emailed to the supplier also, and then processed through Sage in the normal fashion. So that's a very cost-effective way of providing purchase order authorization. Okay, so up until now, what we've seen is basically templates with manual, either data extraction or manual transactions being entered in. But of course, PostTrans can do what a CSV importer does, plus you get the ability to edit and validate it on the screen and interact with the data. So let's move on to an example of bringing in data from a text file. Let's just go to the second example from the bottom, which is all about importing data from a text file. In this example, we have a customer and an order tab. So first of all, I can import my new customers, or maybe someone's edited something. This could have come in from a website. I can press the file button, which has been added to the toolbar now because we've defined it to allow import from CSV files. So I'll just double click on my file. It's brought them in, and now I press import. It's just telling me there the import defaults. Press OK, and you can see those records already existed within Sage because it said updated. Otherwise it would have said posted if they were brand new. Let's move on to the orders, and again I press the file button, and this time there must be a pattern on here because it's only showing me the order data. But it's worth noting that you can actually trigger off a batch file before the first time the file button's pressed. So you could tell it to run a FTP download from an external server or do some processing that you want to add to the functionality. Let's press open. That's now written that into the spreadsheet. And now, of course, if I press the import, that will go through the process of importing those transactions. Now we've got the confirmation screen on, and you can see there the first 4 lines made up one transaction, which I can post into Sage 50, and next 4, and now the next 2. Now what's happening here? Why is it 2? Well, effectively any change in account code, date or customer reference forces a new transaction. And we can see the last 2 in actual fact have 2 different dates against them. So that's how it's forcing new transactions. Let's just take the reference out again. I'm just going to post this, and this time I'm going to go into setup, and I'm going to turn off the confirmation. So now that removes the confirmation window. So now when I press import, all that data will be taken into Sage 50 in one bulk batch process. If we go into settings and actually have a look at the file import tab, we can see there some of the numerous options, and one of those options is actually to move the file to a particular directory once it's posted. Any successful files can actually be moved to a different directory so the user doesn't import them a second time. So we've got quite a lot of functionality there. Basically all you do is go in there and say I want the data to appear in column B, and it will import the CSV file from column B into the template. There's run the batch file first, etc, etc. Very easy to set up. Of course, that was using a CSV file, and it's worth noting there we have actually got quite a lot of different format here. In the previous examples, we saw our transaction type in the header. In the header, we had the account code, the transaction date, the customer reference in the header section. Now we've just moved them down to the lines because they are relevant to those lines. And PostTrans now says, oh, okay, whatever I've read in the header, now this overrides it. So therefore, we're using it to import a straight flat file CSV file. Okay, let's move on. And we've got another example here of how to import into multiple companies. Again, a pro feature. And this one just has a date because in actual fact, we can import multiple types in a CSV file, so we can actually import multiple types. And this one not only has multiple types, but it also has this tag here, th before switch company, which means then that using those company codes we saw when we selected the companies, we can actually say switch the company before you import this data. Thus, this template here will import the data, two different transaction types, into two different companies. And of course, we could add formulas. So we could create a spreadsheet that does an intercompany transfer. And as you'd expect in there, we can just simply tab away, and there's our company codes, which are derived basically from the name of the company within Sage. So let's just see that in action. Quite simple. Goes down, posting into company demo 01. I don't need to print it, and now it should have switched to the practice company, and now it's posted a transaction in the practice company. Very, very easy. So there we're seeing basically that the transaction header fields can be moved around and put into the lines, and the fact we can import into multiple companies of different transaction types. Now we could take that and use this completely differently, in that we could use it with our order template that we used earlier, but we could use this functionality to flip over to another sheet and post that into a separate different company. So you might want to post a sales order into one company and a purchase order into another company for some reason, or you could do a purchase order into the same company, making it a back-to-back order. And how does it do that? Well, we've added some new tags here. Again, the before switch company, so that's making sure that PostTrans uses that company before it starts posting any data into Sage. And after it's Sage posted that, th after process sheet then switches to the next tab in our workbook and posts that. So this one now switches to practice 02, the other data file, and then tells it to switch back to A when it's finished. So let's just post that. And all we need to do is press import, and we should be able to see there it's going into demo company 1. We post that order, print it off, send it, email it, whatever. And now it's flicked over to company B, our tab company B, and now it's posted that into the practice company. As simple as that. So that about concludes our demonstration of PostTrans. And of course, there's many other demos on the website honing in on particular functions and features of PostTrans. Of course, you can use power of Excel in both terms of macros, formula and VBA to manipulate the data before you import it into your Sage accounting package. Indeed, data from other sheets or files can be completely reorganized into a format that PostTrans can easily post into Sage. Anyway, thanks for watching the demo. Please enjoy the product.